Zahm, why do we have a backlog?
The American public's getting older, so that's a factor. The recession was a factor. And I noticed in the agency's submission of their chart of ALJ hiring, there were years when there was no hiring. So the cases accumulated. We also do not have the most efficient system. We have made suggestions to the agency on how to modernize our adjudicatory system. We need to have some rules of practice. We need to have more support for the ALJs. This is a very labor-intensive process. And the courts have added more and more layers of requirements on ALJs in terms of issuing decisions, and it takes longer to do so. It always takes longer to do a good job than a slipshod job. And the danger with the backlog is that the pressure to get the cases out the door may undercut the quality of those decisions.
Right, and that was our concern in 2010 when it seemed to be a higher priority on getting things out the door and just decreasing the backlog than getting good cases. We don't want to have that again because every one of these cases is $300,000 to the federal taxpayer. And if the paperwork is not done right, and if we don't have a good opinion at the end of it, we have no way to evaluate whether this person has had any medical improvement. And so they're in the system forever, regardless of their physical condition, because we don't have a good paperwork trail on it. So it's a nightmare scenario for the American taxpayer. I don't know of a single place that I've traveled in my state of Oklahoma, not one, where somebody in that region hasn't said to me, I've got a cousin, I've got a neighbor, I've got someone that's on disability, they work for cash all the time, they're very engaged. It is a common conversation in many areas. The West Virginia case that was just exposed was $600 million in fraud in one case. And in my conversations with the Inspector General yesterday, we have another case coming out soon that will be even larger than that one, dealing with disability fraud that's coming out. This is an incredibly important issue to a lot of people, that both for the individuals that are truly disabled, that while they're waiting 500+ days, their counsel has told them, don't go get a job, don't work, because if you're working, that's the first thing the ALJ is going to ask you, are you working now? Well, if you're working now, then clearly you can work at another time. And so no matter what situation they're in, they're waiting 500 days without a job for a decision. And so they've either got this huge gap in their employment record, or they're truly disabled, and they've waited a year and a half for a hearing. So either way, it's a really bad situation for them.
Yes.
So the resolution, y'all understand, we understand on it. We just want to make sure at the back end of it, we're not having to redo it, and we have a backlog that gets even bigger because we created another system, and then that system didn't work, and now everything's even worse with